because I go back to places of trauma where my queerness wasn't accepted or my beliefs or so forth. So I'm in my grandma's house. There's no way in hell I could ever say the word gay, so
any type of way about it, right? My mom, I can say I was blessed. Like my coming out to my mom was homophobic. It's for her to check them and say, hey,
Yes.
like, why does it bother you? Why is it so openly, ça dérange like, I'm sorry, are they your, or is that person your boyfriend, your girlfriend? Like, why does it?
Hello, everyone. My name is Debbie, and again, welcome again to another episode of Reimagining Philanthropy plus IT. On today's episode, we're tackling the topic of, supporting LGBTQ rights in Haitian communities, advocacy, awareness, and action with Stephen Baboun and Roy Clement. So both of you, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter who takes first. Please give a short, brief little introduction about yourselves.
Okay, so hi, my name is Roy Clement. I am a mental health professional. I'm an art therapist by trade, project director, community coordinator, but also artist. And Haitian, raised in Haiti, moved here when I was 12, 13, so teenage years, pre-teenage years, and then been living here ever since. So, yeah. Nice. Gay man. Yeah, there you go. Let's add that.
Yes. Thank you for having us. I'm Stephen Baboun. I'm an artist, photography, and creative director from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And my work has a lot to do with the intersectionality, spirituality, and queerness, specifically Haitian queerness. So a lot of my work touches on our community, and we're happy to be here. As longtime friends, we've been friends for a good while, as artists, as queer Haitians. This is kind of our life and we're so immersed in it. So we have conversations like these all the time. So thank you for providing space for us and for Haitian queerness. So thank you.
No, thank you for actually participating. And also, I guess before we even started, we were slightly discussing the current topic on social media, the current buzz about the incident happening in Haiti. Maybe if you guys don't mind, because I'm not really in social media like that.
Yeah.
So Steve and I were working earlier today in the studio, he's doing our own thing, and then I guess he went on Instagram and Olili, who's another queer Haitian comedian artist, posted about this breaking news about
not even breaking, it would go unnoticed if somebody from his caliber didn't post.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But when I say breaking news, because it was happening, it just happened. It just happened, like, it happened today. So where two young men were caught in a lycée. I don't know what they were doing. Sorry. I don't know what they were doing, but they were caught in a lycée, and it became like a mob mentality where because it's like an all boys school, so all the other young men in that school created a mob and were like, why can't they give them to us because they're disrespecting our school, they're Can I speak in Creole?
Yes, please. Yeah. We can do English.
Il a fait masse ici, il a fait ceci. So, and then, so the administration in the school had to put them in an office, lock them in an office, because it was like mob mentality, and they had to call the police so that, to protect the boys, essentially, to get them out of the school.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and what's disheartening is the vast homophobia in the comments, not even caring for these boys' safety. Is there masisi or homosexual? That means their humanity is down the drain. That's what heartened me the most. It's like, somebody posted, I think you posted, what said, you don't even care for your fellow
Haitian.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But also the internet definitely added to kind of the harmful rhetoric about the community.
It's crazy because, as you said, that there's actually one of your piece that I saw recently on the words is moi c'est haïtien, basically I'm Haitian. And also I saw a recent interview of a Haitian who literally fled his hometown because of that same situation, and now he's in Mexico. And you see the stigma on how our community doesn't necessarily support one another, as well as like, the LGBTQ community. It's like, if you are part of the queer, I guess, like a community, you're not seen as Haitian, as if that makes you non-Haitian, as if
you're other.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were talking about that, Debbie, too. I was like, Sakne Vimla is Suma Sisi, or if you identify as queer, it's like your anti-Haitian values. It's like you're not enough from the culture. It's like everything you are goes down the drain, but it's like one indigenous religion, one of our indigenous religion, it's an accepting,
inclusive
people
find safety and community.
And so if you know Haiti is not this innately homophobic society.
That's the colonial mentality.
It's that blanc colonial other mentality that infected, honestly, our community and our values in the way.
Exactly.
And I was also telling Steven this because, I'm going to speak, from my experience as a queer Haitian. I left Haiti when I was 12, 13, but at the end of the day, I've gone back to Haiti and I'm immersed in Haitian community no matter where I was living. That I said that, this happened to these young men where their safety is in jeopardy, where their whole school turn on them and the mob mentality because of lack of education, lack of ignorance, but also because they lacked a social
capital.
Because, living in Haiti, I went to a private all-boys school. This is not the first time you hear of these stories, to say, I might get some hate in the comments for this, but, Saint Gonzaga, a lot of, you hear a lot of stories of, other young men messing around with each other, although private, all girls private school, of girls messing with each other. But because they came from a certain family or they were in a certain school, when they were caught, there was no mob mentality. They were talking about, people shared it, was gossip and all that. But their safety was not in jeopardy because they had parents or status that could technically protect them. Keep this to my child, there would be repercussions compared to a school where, is not as well off, and that maybe that those young men don't have that, that privilege,
that sort of mentality, homophobia does have tears to it, especially in a country that's so divided with all the isms, classism. I would even say colorism. I would even say, Haiti is a caste system.
Yes,
it is.
It's so divided, even in oppression. And I'm disheartened for these boys. I was trying to find their names. If anybody watching this who knows what we're talking about and has any information, I was just still trying to find their names.
I would, maybe in private to find their names, because if their names is out there.
That's the way to protect them.
That's the way to get a nonprofit out there to just make sure they're safe. Because there's the fear that they go home and they get abused or even get killed or it's very heavy, and this conversation is very much needed, and it's very layered, as you can see.
And then there's also this flip side, because Stephen was had mentioned that there's a lot of legislation that's anti-queer, anti-gay, but it was never really passed into law.
I believe that was back in 2017 or 2020 that they tried to pass it?
In 2021, 2022, there was a penal code situation under Jovenel. No, not 2021, before, like you said. But in a lot of instances, like early 2000s too, a lot of politicians, to appease the masses, passed these anti-queer bills, but they never pass in parliament. They're never in the constitution. Part of me thinks that, we don't, innately in us, we're not trying to exclude anyone. I feel like constitutionally, but, I don't know, but there's this kind of, this joy of creating these anti-gay bills and like
It's crazy because I was doing a bit of research. I did see, which is I won't say it's odd, but I did find something that did say like in 1791, Haiti actually has a policy that is very open to basically same-sex intercourse.
and that came from the French. That
But
was
but
yeah.
but not, marriage and whatnot. But it seems like we still probably maintain that, or it's part of, I don't know, our decrees that we've never amended or whatnot. But at the same time, I would say like in 2020, when Jovenel, as you said, like try to pass that bill, there were a lot of manifestations. I remember like in Oka, people were out in the street, like protested against that. And at the same time, I guess me, again, being in the United States and whatnot, and I'm more open when it comes to culture. I'm like, yo, ça va business point at the end of the day. If they're happy, they're happy. Ça va regarder them. But most people see that. I guess like my question to you guys, I guess because Roy, you are in the mental health space, how does that actually play a role in especially youth mental health within the diaspora and in Haiti?
So I feel like queerness is a forever, not a forever, but it's an intrinsic battle that you go through that affects your mental health greatly, in the sense of that, depending on where you are, no matter if you're in the most accepting of families or accepting of communities, coming to the realization that you are queer, having to accept that and process that, there's always turn. Because no matter where you are, like I said, most inclusive family or inclusive community, you will still be faced with homophobia, So I feel like mental health wise, you have to process who you are, make peace with who you are, and then, heal from that, right? However, even when you do heal from it, you can still be triggered and be brought back to that inner child or to that person who was not out, feels unsafe, depending on your environment and who's around you, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about safety. And your safety can be in jeopardy depending on what neighborhood that you're walking, what neighborhood you're driving, what people is around you who can be violent because of it. So I do think that it affects people's mental health, because even when someone could be out to their community, to their family, but at work they're not out because they have a homophobic boss, and this is their career of choice, and they love their work, they love their employment, but their boss is homophobic, so they they're in the closet at work, or they're out at work and they're out to their friends, but they're not out to their family. And then whenever they go to family gatherings, it could be 50, they could be 35, they could be 15,
hide themselves.
And then that creates a dissonance of where that person is back again in the closet. So I feel like, it affects your mental health periodically, but once you're surrounded by good community and good friends, just like with any mental health issues, it helps you combat those negative thoughts, those intrusive thoughts, and remember that you're safe, you're okay, and things can happen. But I feel like when we're talking about Haiti, being queer in Haiti, like we mentioned earlier, there's also environments where you're at. Are you in the capital? Are you in the provinces? Who's around you? Environment, what social class you come from, because I feel like all of that affects your queer experience.
Definitely.
And how you process and deal with everything mentally. Yeah. But I do feel like as a Haitian people, I will say that Haitian people can be homophobic. But I will say, I don't know if because I'm biased because I'm Haitian, I will say out of all the islands, from what I've heard, compared to our counterpart country, Jamaica, we can be homophobic, but we're not as deadly or as, harshly punished, imprisoned, or killed for that. I'm not saying that acts of violence don't happen, but you don't hear it as commonly happening compared to other Caribbean islands. And,
because I was in Port-au-Prince for about a year, and there were some places like Yonvalu I would go to where they were like actively open and it was like very free and whatnot. There was some safe spaces, you could say, but I guess for me, I kind of don't like using the word safe space only because it kind of indirectly excludes some individuals. So I would like to use the word, I guess, inclusive spaces where all like-minded individuals just come and just be free and have fun. I guess, so Young Value was more that space for a lot of us. And though I may not be in the community, but I am an ally, I would say, in some cases. And your work, I guess, Stephen, you've mentioned, I guess within your work, I forgot the exact name, where you went back into the province and you try to reconnect back home. You try to reconnect with places that unfortunately had traumas related to it, where you try to reclaim your queerness or whatnot. Can you maybe go into depth on how, I guess, youth can tap into art to or creativity to then showcase themselves? And I believe, like Roy, you can also maybe tap into that question as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely art is, not to sound cliche, but definitely it saved my life in a way because it was a big form of therapy. And that piece that you're mentioning, it's called L'Entrée, to
Thank
enter.
you.
So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. It's very personal and special to me because I go back to places of trauma where my queerness wasn't accepted or my beliefs or so forth. So I'm in my grandma's house. There's a scene where I'm at my grandma's house where no way in hell I could ever say the word gay, So, so a lot of homophobic comments in my household, I grew up hearing, Masisi was thrown as this horrible insult to your humanity, like people making fun of effeminate men. So yeah, so I go back to these spaces, like I go to under, the mountains. Where I'm just almost shouting, almost like shouting at I don't know who, but everybody at once, right? I go back to the ocean. The ocean is the only part that claims me because the water is fluid. The water is not claimed by anyone. So at the end, I go back to the water and I feel accepted. I feel that my identity, Haiti,
So,
XYZ pour Haïtien, like so. And that piece, when I made it, and when I'm looking at, sometimes I can't even watch it. Like our friend Eva is here, who's a curator. She loves this piece. She shows it as much as she can. Bless her soul. But for me, it's hard to watch. Like it's a form of trauma. Some days I can watch this. Some days I can watch it. Some days my inner child, like Roy was saying, creeps back up. But like the youth, I want to tell them that if you have a drive, it doesn't need to be art, it could be whatever. And that makes you feel good in your humanity to push for it. And I would say art is such an extreme and radical form of self-love and self-expression. So I always tell people to use art as a medium to explore yourself, to meet yourself and find yourself and unlearn all the harmful things that we were pumped into as children about any sort of minority group or any sort of other group, so. Yeah.
Did you want to add to that, Roy?
Yes. So for me, art is very therapeutic, hence art therapy. I'm an art therapist, art psychotherapist. So art has always been a form of therapy for me. And I think for Haitian people, if we just drive through the streets of Haiti, you can see how art sustains life, but also sustains people's mental health. Because I don't think people in Haiti who create, like when you go in Haiti, you see all of those pottery vases, colorful pottery vases, all those paintings, all of those, what you call them, like the
canvases,
like the metal work and all that stuff that's being done, all those paintings, everything, it's plastered all over the streets, right? It's people's livelihoods, but it's also what's sustaining them mentally, because when they're creating the art, they're able to focus on something and heal and process. And that's what art is for me. It's a place of safety, it's a place of inclusivity, but also art helped me find a community. And I think that's what's important for queer youth in Haiti or in the diaspora, is finding a community can look like whatever you want it to look like, right?
Mhm.
Community can be a community around art. It can be a community around, if you're your science mind, around engineering, around, baking, around, anything, kite making, anything. However, finding a community and finding, like, people now, like the younger people say, like, finding your tribe is very important to surviving as a queer person.
Yeah.
Is finding allies like you, like Edna, like other people, like close friends, is finding that community to help you recognize that you're human, you have a right to be loved, you have a right to love who you love, you have a right to be you. And I think that, for me, I found that with art, but you can find a community through anything else. Some people find community playing soccer, some people find community going to church, like singing in the choir. People find community through comedy, comedy club, whichever way you can find your community. And I think that's the most important thing for queer people, is finding people in your life that are allies, that are open-minded, or that are queer like you, to form that community for you to survive until you get to a place where you're able to stand on your own 2 feet and be safe, and provide that safety to others as well.
Definitely. Community is, I want to touch on 2 things. This conversation is so beautiful. I'm just like jumping back and forth. But one, I want to touch on art as therapy and as survival for us Haitian. I kind of want to go back on that because, like Roy was saying, soit dans la Haiti ou artisanat tout côté. It's metal work. But there, you can see that each piece has a soul. It could be so many paintings, but these artists really are
their own.
because it's survival. Like, yes, they're using this to pay bread and butter, but you can see their souls in each painting. You can see it's authentic just because there's no other way to escape but the art. So to me, I resonate with that a lot. And I was going to say about community. Community is so important. We work closely, and I also work closely with Organisation Trans d'Haïti, which is a trans organization of Haiti. And it's led by Dominique. Dominique was just telling me that, like, we're talking about community where, like, all these kids that are in the house that are seeking refuge outside of their homes because they're persecuted because of their trans. These kids have built a family, yun sotande or yun sot na capital. So, like, they're from everywhere, and you can see this kind of, like, community forming in front of you, and how important, because now these are your people. These are the people to go through sex talks with, medical needs, puberty,
education,
healthcare, transitioning. Like, these are your people now. You have to kind of, so it's so important. Nou grandi se like zami important. Nou kompren, like zami vraiment important. Communauté zami, fok nou vraiment investi la den.
I completely agree. And being that our community, there's such a stigma, unfortunately, within the sector. Like you mentioned the word, excusez-moi, Sissi, pardon. Like, for me, I grew up knowing that word is such a vulgar word. Like, it's a curse. Like, if I tell somebody that, it's like I am like, degrading you. It's like pour juste à présent, like, it is hard for me to say both word. And I know for our community, like, we don't necessarily, especially in Haiti, we don't recognize LGBTQ as a word. We mostly gravitate towards MM. And I guess, like, for people who don't understand where it came from, do you guys have any background or any insights?
You mean the term M's?
The word themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Creole language, it's beautiful and it's so vast, but there's a lack of terminology for certain phenomena that are not present in our community. Like, queer terminology, we either have to adopt from other languages or come up with ours. Gay, homosexual, c'est pas vraiment, it's Creole, but it originates from French and it originates from English. The words to express that are ma sisi, ma divine, ma compère, mon compère, mix. So they all start with M. So that's why they call it Communauté M, because all these identities start with M. But Masisi, a lot of queer folks have trauma saying this word too. So I want to say this with the utmost respect. I'm saying the word Masisi as a queer Haitian to reclaim that word, to say this is who I am. Like, I'm not going to be bothered. It's not an insult in my mind. So I want to, apologize for people if that's queer folks that feel kind of triggered by this word still, but I'm saying it with the utmost love and to be claimed. But yeah, it's just a terminology for it. We
That's
have
the only
that's
one
the
we
only way
have.
to say,
Yeah,
like,
those are the only ones we
you know,
have.
you can say bisexuel, homosexuel, lesbian, but it's not rightfully Creole. So in order to keep within our culture, you know, the community has created these terminologies to identify ourselves with. So
Thank you. Thank you for that. So how would someone who is an ally basically educate our community, even though like you could say the older generation is more reluctant to learn, to grow?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So how can we go about to actually educate our community about this? And I understand, like, you know, in Haiti, we mostly have like private schools, like separate like gender based or whatnot, and that falls in line with our upbringing, especially when it comes to religion, and they drill that into us. And that then transcend or transfer when we actually then move abroad and whatnot. How do you tell the youth that haven't, like, they're having that identity crisis issue, and they haven't really found their place in the community, especially in the diaspora? And we've talked, like, you guys mentioned a lot about community, but what if they cannot find their community? How do they go about to find this?
Okay, so that's a two-part question. Okay, so the first part is, how do we educate, you said, the allies or the elders?
Yes.
I think the first part of education is removing the stigma. The same way there's a stigma about mental health, there's a stigma about queerness. There's so many stigmas in the Haitian community. Haitians are c'est moun ki complexe dans tout bagay. Okay, so I think that the first thing is removing the stigma and having conversations. I think it's for those who are allies, like the younger generation, or even because there are some elders that are allies, right? Like my brother, he's 50. I don't want to put his age out there, but like he's in his late 50s.
Yeah.
Okay? And you know, he's never made me feel any type of way about it, right? My mom, I can say I was blessed. Like my coming out to my mom was fairly smooth into my family. So I think the way to remove and educate, you know, to remove the stigma is just have that conversation. Because I feel like if you're an ally, you can try to have those conversations with your parents or with your friends. Like if your friend is saying the word or being homophobic, you know, it's for you to check them and say, hey, like, why does it bother you? Why is it so overtly, you know, like, I'm sorry, are they your, you know, or is that person your boyfriend, your girlfriend? Like, why does it really bother you? This is something that you learn that you need to unlearn. Because as an adult, we unlearn a lot of things that were fed by society, by colonialism. Like the same way we're unlearning all these other things, we can unlearn that stigma too. Like, have those conversations, you know. Create allyship, help them realize that, you know, these are people that are just seeking love. They're just trying to live just like, you know, anybody else. You know, we all want basic human rights of, you know, getting an education, living a life, finding someone to love, and, you know, forming a life and finding happiness. So it's creating that conversation.
Can you come to the second part? Can I add a little more feisty answer? I don't know if it's because of the incident today, but there's no excuse in this day and age in 2024. We've got access to technology, internet, forums, social media. That, look, as a queer person, a lot of us have been through a lot. I don't have the energy to educate people all the time. Like, I just feel like you shouldn't be homophobic. That's human decency. It's like I can't teach you
human decency.
Human decency. Like, my job is not to make you less homophobic or change you. My job is to be myself and you respect me. Like, I don't care. Like, have a mutual respect. Be human. So to me, it's a question of doit moun, doit vivre, doit moun, doit tout moun gen doit. Sinon tout est même moun, mes amis. Ou gen panier même c'est même fouya. Il pas intéressant. We're all different people. So it's like, I want to add a more feisty, to the point answer. It's like, come on, guys. Like, it's
like, We're over it. Like
Comment à
at
Mapsula, I don't know.
one, yeah.
Yeah, everything Roy said is beautiful and it's correct. Like, check your friends, like faire recherche ou parler à moun, like check your family with these little microaggression, homophobic comments. Like, even though you're not gay yourself, but you know your brother is, your cousin is, and that's doing a disservice to them.
It's stranger, yeah.
Yeah, that's really doing a disservice to them if you're not checking that homophobia. So it comes down to droit moun, human decency, courtesy, like. We don't discriminate against straight people like that. You know what I'm saying? So we shouldn't discriminate against nobody.
And it was just like going back to like basic human rights is like, the incident we were talking about, and when Oily posted it, it was not as some of the comments were very homophobic, but some of the comments were very supportive. And a lot of people were saying like the same way you have, to all those young men that have all that energy for two just young guys that were
just living their lives.
Yeah. Come see, someone said specifically like, Jean gang ap bay pi ya, Jean gen enerji bois kale pou deux ti garçon nou an l'ekol. So pa gen enerji sa pou gang yo kap detwi pi ya. Like, there's bigger things to worry about in life than two people loving each other or two people just having sex or just, being themselves. Like, there's more societal things in Haiti for people to focus on, like the government, like having, making education possible, making, healthcare possible. Like, there's more things to worry about in Haiti. People's safety, less oppression from, like, the bourgeoisie. There's all these things to worry about instead of just like
focusing on something that really
just people being people.
Yeah.
People being people and living their lives. Like, it's, and the second part of your question, if you can repeat that, because I feel like I went on a tangent. I'm like slightly forgetting.
I believe it had to do with youth coming from Haiti or youth in the diaspora, basically, that has not found their community and doesn't know how to go about it. How would you advise them?
Say,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I just had like sound issue.
We have to do that,
Yeah.
I mean, social media is one of them. You can connect online to a lot of. There are a lot of organizations too. I know in Haiti there's Courage, there's Ultra. There are a couple of beautiful other feminist and queer organizations. So maybe a lot of queer folks I've spoken to who have come from either, immigrated here or have come here. Honestly, a lot of them. They have WhatsApp forums. Like, there's no us queer folks. One thing we're gonna do is we're gonna find people. We're gonna find our community. We're gonna find these spaces for ourselves. Like, that's part of our survival mode. But we just started.
We just created this actually started. But this started out of Stephen doing some workshops around queer identity and Haitian identity and all that stuff, and then we recently we kind of like
officially
founded a queer Haitian collective.
Nice.
And through that, last month for around 18 May, we had our first queer Haitian ball in New York, and we were able to raise over $1,000 for Udga in Haiti. So we were able to find each other. Granted, we're older, we're in the diaspora, but it's the same way, like in Haiti, like you said, this started out as, just finding, friends talking, right? So if you're in Haiti and you're a youth and, you don't know somebody else who's queer or anything, just pay attention to what people say, because you can see who's an ally and who's homophobic, right? Based on how they talk about people,
and how they make you feel.
And then, if you're, you have a friend that you feel safe around, or, that you can come out to, because usually when you're a queer person, your friend that's your true friend, sometimes they'll see that you're queer. That you're queer, right? And if they created the space for you to come out and for you to talk about who you are, that person becomes an ally. If they happen to be queer as well, amazing. If they're just amazing as well. So it's about really learning the art of discernment, because you have to be safe, right? It's really learning the art of discernment and finding out who you can include in your community and slowly start building that community. Community can just be one person. Sometimes you just need that one person to feel like you're not drowning, right? That person is craft, and they're going to help you navigate these torrential waters, right? So it's about finding that one person, a friend, a sibling, or another,
Even that adult, that cool aunt, that cool teacher,
someone in the community, or if you see an elder queer person, that's already gone through everything and now they're self-sufficient, or they're like
and probably have access to a lot of resources.
Yeah, that they're out and proud and stuff like that, because they're scattered. They're scattered around Haiti. So it's finding that and then slowly building that network. It's gonna be hard work, because like I said, you have to come to the realization of acceptance of who you are, because you can't seek out a community if you don't identify yourself in the community, right?
That's true.
So it's about, going through all of that inner turmoil and making peace with it, or accepting it at least, and then from there on seeking out support in your community. And finding that friend, finding that sibling, finding that community member that can help build that for you, and realizing that it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes time.
Now, I kind of wanted to go back to you said it's the Queer Haitian Collective, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this a collective given circle, or is this potentially going to be a nonprofit, or you guys are purely going to be a collective circle to collect funding for, let's say, Otra, Courage, or any other organization that needs that?
Funny that you said that. We're literally developing that, because we started as a WhatsApp support group. We started with 10 queer Haitians, and now we're at 50, and so our community is growing, but it organically came about. Like, I met, me and Roy connected back in New York, and we met Izzy, we met Jet, we met, so meeting people here in the diaspora. And then one day, I don't know how this came about. We were just planning things to do. I don't know if you said, Izzy, one of our members, like, guys, would it be cool to have a bal, but just a queer bal? Like, like us as queer folks, we're looking at it, we're like, damn, if we
felt excluded.
Always felt excluded because it was always heterosexual oriented. So like, let's reclaim it. Let's do a queer bal. And we decided to partner with Otra, because part of our mission too is to always connect to Haiti and involve and center Haiti first. So, here in the diaspora, how can we leverage our resources and leverage Haiti and Haitians on the ground first? So that's very important to us.
I definitely think I guess pivoting into a collective circle rather than a nonprofit actually is more beneficial.
So we're talking about starting it as a.
So we are like Stephen said, it was very organic. Like, we started as a support group, and eventually, somebody in the group was like, "Oh, by the way, can I have this person? Can I have this person?" And it started like that. And now it's gotten to a place where we realize how much there's a need for it. So because when we did the bal last month, we're still in June, sorry. When we did the bal last month, like, some people were like in Canada, they were like, "Oh my God, like, come to Canada. Can we do it in Miami? Can people, the community is, like you said,
longing for it.
We're looking for community. We're looking for a safe space. So, or like you said, an inclusive space, to say it better. So I think that, we are, the committee members, Stephen and I and a few other people who were part of the founding members of the Queer Haitian Collective. We are, with busy lives, we are slowly trying to get to a space where we can, maybe become a nonprofit or at least an organization that provides support, provides mentorship, that provides connection to Haiti, but also Haitian culture. Because something that we also realize is that, within the diaspora, yes, it's great finding other queer Haitians, but it's also a way to connect to like the Haitian community. And that's why we center ourselves on connecting it back to Haiti and partnering with, on-ground Haitian organizations.
And we also recognize that a lot of Haitian society kind of traumatized queer folks. So our collective, we pride ourselves in connecting back to compa, connecting back to our tradition. It doesn't need to be this, because I know a lot of queer Haitians that are traumatized by a certain aspect. that wouldn't even listen to Haitian music or would disidentify with the community just because of all. So we want to center Haiti. We want to create a network because a lot of us in the collective are DJs, we're therapists, we're lawyers. So we're like, guys,
Right. Yeah.
how can we leverage our connections to leverage our community? So it's a lot of, like you said, it's such an organic thing. So now we're all like, oh, maybe we should make this an organization because the demand is so
needed.
Needed.
Yeah, it's needed. And I know with what you guys are doing as well, how do you, or how can we address or combat, you could say, misinformation and stigma surrounding the sector within our community? Because what's up, there's misinformation every day.
So something that Stephen and I were talking about is going back to the basics of what started the organization or the collective or the support group was these workshops that he was organizing and that kind of like brought all of us together is providing these workshops for education. These workshops about, culture, or about our culture, whether it's within, voodoo or Haitian culture, the language, all of that, and removing that stigma and providing that education, because a lot of the homophobia, a lot of the hate is coming from a place of ignorance and from a place of being force-fed other ideas, indoctrinations that are not necessarily really Haitian, right?
Yeah.
Because if you look at the core of what Haiti was founded on inclusivity, was founded on, unifying all of these tribes, all of these enslaved people, from the Taino people that was originally in Haiti that connected to the enslaved Africans, to the Polish people that stayed when they saw what was going on, that, sided with us to help us fight for our independence, was all of these different tribes and different people that connected. So, is bringing it back to that core of inclusivity, of connecting and removing that stigma, because more conversation needs to be had for people to realize that, I was taught to hate gay people or queer people. I was taught to think that, queer people, all that stuff. But no, that's the colonial.
That's what they brain feed us, basically.
But even them now, they're not subscribing to. So why are we subscribing to something that even the people who force-fed us
are not even subscribing?
Because if you're going back, because, Haiti is a predominantly Christian Catholic country, right? Even if you look at the Pope now, the current Pope, who is
he's opening his doors,
like kind of like spiritual person on this planet,
and an ally.
Is an ally. Even when he fumbles, he's still trying to perpetuate that allyship. So why can we not realize, okay, that maybe we were indoctrinated and force-fed some things that was a way to control us and to divide us and keep us easily manipulated?
Look, hate infects a society, and the colonizers know how to use so many things to infect other communities.
Divide us.
So inclusivity is in our coat of arms. It's in our flag. L'union fait la force. That is the definition. I don't know how to describe exclusivity more than
Union fait la force.
Right.
But at the same time, we unfortunately have lost that that meaning within our community.
Right.
We need to retain that and regain that. And I believe, like, with the collective, you guys can slowly but surely attain some union fait la force with the proper allyship. I guess my last question for you guys, because I didn't want to keep you all night.
Yes.
is, what are the long-term goals for LGBTQ LGBTQ plus advocacy? Advocacy.
Et pour ça que la facile M, baby. Communauté M.
I don't.
I'm teasing. I'm joking. But yeah.
So what are the long-term goals, basically, when it comes to advocacy in the Haitian community, and what steps are needed to achieve these goals?
I think the long-term goals for us as queer people is, I think, humanizing us, humanizing our love, humanizing who we are, and eventually, fighting for equal rights, right? It's claiming space and being in spaces to help people realize that at the end of the day, we're human. So a long-term goal that we have for the Queer Haitian Collective that we're discussing is how can, like, Stephen said, how can we leverage our resources, our, our expertise? Because like you said, we have lawyers, engineers, mental health, different people. How can we leverage our experiences, our resources into Haitian organizations like Utla, Courage, and all of these, so that they can provide space and community for the people in Haiti, but also get to a point of maybe lobbying and advocating for equal rights, right? Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, we need to have a sitting government, which that's the reality of it.
That's going to be a bit hard, yes.
Functioning government to get to that point.
Yeah.
But also, like, creating those marches, creating that space for us to be, more inclusive. And it does start with these kind of forums and these kind of conversations, because if more people are having these conversations, the less it's going to be stigma, and the more understanding and empathy is created for us to realize that at the end of the day, we're human, we're just people trying to exist and live in this tumultuous world, right?
Yeah. So piggyback off Roy, I think our mission is a lot of folds, the two folds that I can think of, like you said, it's like we just want to advocate and make impactful change to just treat and give equal rights to LGBTQ folks in Haiti, diaspora worldwide. We're not asking for much. We're asking for, if the trans girl wants to go to work without being picked on, she's protected by the law, like, oh, my boss discriminated against me. There's justice. There's like an accountability system that the person can go to find justice. If a gay man was killed by hate crime, I'm asking for
the family can find
justice. So it's like, I just want to see a Haiti where all people can have the same safety, the same feelings, the same protection. That's all we're asking for. In long term, us being in the diaspora, we want to be lobbyists. We want to kind of support the Courage and Ultra, who are also already doing the very hard legislative work, who are on the ground being persecuted, fighting every day for better life. We want to contribute to that fight. It's already there. We just want to contribute it. Add support, like, if, whether it's financially, communally, like advocacy wise, like, we just want to see a future for Haiti that me and Roy didn't grow up seeing. So that's all we're asking for, and we're asking for respect, especially for kids, young folks. Like, please, like, we're just asking for a safe, non-violent upbringing to them. Not just because they feel different doesn't mean they need to be treated as such.
To add on to piggyback off your response, how can people support other than what you guys already mentioned as far as like the collective, or is there a donation link?
I would say if you follow us at Queer Haitian Collective on Instagram, we update everything. So we're in the process of building it. So when our donation or website, our programming, that's where it's going to be up. So Queer Haitian Collective. Awesome. And you can also find us at queerhaitiancollective@gmail.com. But social media is the best way to keep up with our future projects.
Or also, it doesn't only have to be through us. Like, you can find other organizations like Utla, like Courage, that you can say, like, hey, how can I help, support this organization or support individuals? Or you can just start locally. If you see somebody in your friendship group, somebody in your family, somebody in the community that you can see that's a queer person, just provide a helping hand. Just be a person maybe that they can turn to, that they can feel safe. And it just starts from that. It can be something very simple. It doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be legislation. It could just be creating more inclusive and, allyship within the community where you live. It doesn't matter where in the world you live. If it's a family member, if it's, somebody in your school, just being there and trying to help, provide community where you are at.
Of course, and to add on to that, because I did have one experience where I guess someone, their form of allyship, because the person haven't basically come out yet, is to flat out in a public setting ask them, are you gay? Like, no, you don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you don't do that.
It's like, kind of what I said, like checking your friend and be like, no, don't do that. Like have a personal conversation with them, It's like the same way a straight person would be asked, like, what's your body count? Are you a virgin? Did you,
No,
there's a conversation that you have to have respect for someone and ask them, because unless if the person is already out and then, they're fine and, but even then there's a decency of,
waiting for them to let you know.
Yes, not putting someone in an unsafe space or putting a target on their back because you don't know who's listening and who has negative intention.
You don't know their journey.
Exactly. So it's about like you said, checking that person and be like, no, don't do that. Like chill. Like if you really want to know, have a conversation with the person separately. Like
Exactly.
you don't have to embarrass someone or out someone or make someone feel unsafe, because at the end of the day, that's what you would make the person feel unsafe. Yeah, because that's the reality. Us queer people feel unsafe, constantly. That's what it is.
Thank you so much for the conversation. Honestly, we could go on for a bit longer.
Between me and Roy, on t'a parlé vite. Ouais, là pour juste 10 soir.
Thank you so and much. I will see you guys, I guess, on probably your next event. Wait, are you guys allowing straight people to participate?
Of course. Yes. That was their center. We have, it was open to allyship. Anyone that wanted to be an ally or support to the community.
Yes, definitely.
There were straight people dancing right next to us, and it was such an experience, because if you go on our IG page, you'll see pictures. Like it was so uplifting to see, because it was like that. It was like your value, there were queer people, there were straight people, and then like we're just nobody was judging, like we're just existing, and nobody looked twice, nobody talked twice about it. So yes, it's open to the public.
And it's fun. It's a vibe. It's something to do. And we always want to attach our programming to a cause, and hopefully, we want to keep working with grassroots in Haiti for sure.
Yeah. I love it. I would say the only thing that maybe it might lack, my friend, in Yavalu, their rice.
I remember those complaints. Oh my God.
But so somebody did say that there was some food, but we did. Well, technically, there was food because you could have ordered from the bar upstairs, because we ate.
Yeah,
we had a little
I we're always growing. Next time we know, we just did. I didn't expect.
We didn't expect. Like we're honestly people. Like, because we rented the space.
Branded saloon.
Branded saloon. We rented the space out of pocket.
Yeah.
The DJs, everything out of pocket. So like we honestly did not think that many people were gonna come, and we had
we were booked in this.
We had like over 50 people that showed up and bought tickets, right? Nice. So, and a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, I wish I could have been there," because it was May 17th. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, I went to Miami for the Haitian festival, so I'm not gonna be here." Or people were like, "I'm in Boston or in Canada," So the need is there. So we're next time we have it, we know we're gonna be. There's gonna be more people, because even people found us, people that were at the bar saw us and were like, ooh, like they bought tickets right then and there to participate. And there was this guy who was from Trinidad, and he's like, oh my God, like I can't imagine having this in Trinidad. Like, I love what you guys are doing here. So we're definitely gonna we're working behind the scenes. It's the summer, people are busy, people are traveling, but we're definitely working behind the scenes to plan our next event, and also, we fundraise every time we have an event. Plan our next event and work towards making it an organization to provide support. Build our website. We're working on that.
Awesome. Thank you. My last time, we tell you bye-bye like 5 times.
This is the last.
Yes.
Thank you for tonight, and I will basically send you guys Stephen. You can or you can share my number with Stephen.
Yes,
and definitely. And again, thank you again, and I'll see you guys soon.
Bye. Yes, thank you again, Debbie.
All right then. Bye.
Bye.